Bing.
Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
Everybody three count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now. I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what am I do? There's a 1. There's a 2. Oh!
Wow.
Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are live here on Facebook. It is Thursday night, December the 17th, 2020. We're the podcast of the millennium. We have tons to talk about this week, including The Fix is in and what the hell is a Firefly Inferno match. But first, make sure you go to our website, 3countthursday.com. Find all of our social media links, our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. We have our collar and elbow brand deal, 10% off each order. Store at our collarandelbowbrand.com using promo code 3count. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3countthursday. Our home network, of course, NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We also stream daily at leapsports.com. Ryan, that would be? Ryan, that would be?
Why does he have to do that to me?
Ryan, stay focused.
Why is he leibsports.com?
Thank you. That's the one. And I mean, I don't know why you're upset with Matt just speaking facts. I don't understand why you would be upset.
I get it. People don't like Chronic. Chronic was good.
Thank you.
In what universe was he good?
Did you watch the 2000s WCW?
Probably not.
Okay, all right.
If we're being 100% honest about it.
There was no tag team cooler in WCW in the year 2000 than Chronic.
Their theme song was garbage.
I agree. Theme song was trash.
Shane McMahon.
My fucking... Look, dude, I had your fucking back.
You said it was
The best in the world.
I can't.
If this finishes, Notre Dame loses to Clemson this weekend.
Shane McMahon.
He said it. I didn't.
Notre Dame's loss is now on Jim.
No, that's not true at all. Actually, I don't think
you. I put that out there. You let it play out.
I couldn't hear it over the glorious
Should have been playing it in the first place.
vocals of Greg Hamilton. What's up to Devin, to Scotty, to the Ringsiders, to Rodney, to everybody else joining us live. If you're following us live, please give it a like, give it a share. Let get more people in here. as many as possible. We would appreciate that, of course. But let's go around the room. Ryan,
How you doing?
So good.
good. Tim,
How you doing?
I'm going to be better in about 5 minutes when my pizza gets delivered through that door.
Ooh, the magic portal.
Matt,
How you doing?
Doing well. Enjoying a double blizzard of hops today since I shoveled like 17 feet of snow out of my driveway. So, yeah, feeling all right now.
very good. Intern Mark.
How you doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, Gail wore me up last day and a half here. She's a very hard one to please. I'm sore. I'm ready for a nap.
Very good. Yeah. Tim, did you guys get snow in Maryland? I kind of kept.
Oh, yes, we did.
You got some down there?
Yeah, our entire driveway is just a block of ice.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we kept like our walkway and our porch like taken care of, but our driveway is like gravel and grass. So there's nothing we can really do other than like go out there with the hair dryers and like blow it dry and stuff like that.
Yeah. It so I did because the street we live on is kind of like a side street. So I park on the street. My wife parks in the driveway. I thought this year, like, I'm gonna bring home 2 sheets of plywood and I'm gonna park in the front yard so that the plow will be able to cut right to the curb.
Brilliant, Jim. Brilliant strategy.
What I did not foresee happening, because the town I live in now has snow emergency routes, which is like one of the streets around the corner, so like people can't park on the street there. Somebody came and parked right next to my, like, in the gap between my driveway and my neighbor's driveway, so they were kind of able to cut towards most of my curb, but had to like wind out, so I still had to shovel out it in front of the driveway today. So, which is of course the lightest and most fluffiest of snows.
I mean, so to be fair, like at least for me and for most of mine, like of everyone that lives here, 80% of us work from home. So like shoveling things out doesn't really matter to us. But the other person works for the city and he had to work a 6 to 6 last night, driving around, plowing all this snow, and I felt for the kid.
Oh, I'm not mad at the plow guy. The plow guy is doing his
plow
job.
guy is the only guy belongs out. The plow guy is the only guy that belongs at work. Everybody else needs to close down.
But
whoa.
Yeah, everybody close down, buddy.
Close them down.
Shut everything down. Shut the arcades down. Shut everything down.
Wait a minute.
No, sir. No, sir.
Hold
I
on.
need a hoagie and some wings inside. Well, what do we got there?
No.
I know a few places that are open.
You probably do. You got the Patriots over there in Elizabethtown, don't you, Mark?
It's mostly if you go towards Mannheim. I think that's where most of the Patriots are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a few around here in E-Town, but
That sounds about right.
Mannheim is very patriotic.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Spend a Tuesday at Roots and you'll see that.
You ain't kidding. Let's see. Scotty says when he lived in PA, the plow destroyed their mailbox every year for 12 years. Oof, yeah, that's no good.
Scotty, I just think the plow driver didn't like your family.
Yeah, apparently.
Or your mailbox.
That happened to me once at our old house, and it was a bitch to dig the post out of the ground and then put in a new one.
I believe that.
So,
I want to replace our mailbox so bad at our house.
Just hit it with something, apparently.
Yeah.
Like I want a really cool mailbox. That's what I want.
Yeah, once we do, there's a construction job that we were going to do on the house this year that we're hoping to do next year. That I hope to have we have a mail slot in the door. I still think I'd like to have a mailbox myself. I like a mailbox, but
I like to slide firecrackers in your mail slot and light them on fire.
you do like to do that, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but.
You didn't appreciate it last time at all.
No, it made a lot of mess. It made a lot of noise. It scared the dog.
Pooped on the floor.
Scared the dog.
Oh, shit on the floor. I shit on my pants. Like
sheet my drawers.
Sheet my drawers. It just wasn't fun. It just
Lots
wasn't
and lots
fun.
of caca.
So let's kick it in here with our weekly segment. For what's the date today? The
17th.
17th.
That's the one.
17th.
No birthdays today, actually.
Nobody had a birthday.
Nobody had a birthday today, but tomorrow I did see Stone Cold Steve Austin's birthday.
Somebody's got to have a birthday today. I'm gonna find out who's got a birthday today. You keep going.
Say, find me a birthday today. But we go all the way back to 1994. ECW held their second annual Holiday Hell event at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia in front of 800 fans. The show featured 8 matches and was headlined by the Public Enemy defeating Sabu and the Tasmaniac for the ECW World Tag Team Championship. 1995 WWF held yes, Tim, we'll go to you.
Eugene was born today in 1975.
Like wrestler Eugene or Eugene Levy?
Eugene
Levy was also born today.
Levy, I know Levy was born because I heard that on Preston Steve. Wow, they did not have that on the site where I look up wrestler birthdays. So happy birthday, Eugene.
Nick Dinsmore. He is the wrong side of 40. He is 45.
Ooh, yeah.
He's getting old.
And Pacquiao today too.
Oh, there we go.
The Pac-Man.
1995. WWF held their 5th In Your House pay-per-view, which is retroactively titled Seasons Beatings, from the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in front of 7,289 fans, including myself and including one intern Mark. I think I point this way to get to intern Mark. This way?
I was there. I remember.
One of the ways. Intern Mark. 7,289 fans. The show featured 3 dark matches, 6 main card matches, and was main evented by Bret Hart defeating the British Bulldog to retain the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. You can hear me and Matt and Ryan watching the Arkansas Hog Pen match with a watch along in our archives. So feel free to check that out when we're not currently live. Then we go to the year 2000. WCW held their 18th annual and final Starrcade produced by WCW from the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. in front of 6,596 fans. The show featured 10 matches and was main evented by Scott Steiner defeating Sid Vicious to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Then we go 2005. Ring of Honor Final Battle 2005 was held at the Inman Sports Club in Edison, New Jersey. The main event was Kenta defeating Low Ki to retain the GHC Junior Heavyweight title.
That match still fucking slaps.
Yeah?
Oh my god, dude. Like, this is back before Low Ki went nuts. It's
he is nuts.
Kenta in shape. Like, oh my god, dude. And I think also on this card was Naomichi Marufuji versus
Bless you.
Who did Marufuji fight? He fought somebody.
Doink the
I wanna
Clown.
say Christopher Daniels? Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson. I've heard of him.
Uh-huh.
And then we go to 2006. WWE held their Armageddon pay-per-view from the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia, in front of 8,200 fans. The show is produced by the SmackDown brand, had 7 matches, and the main event was Batista and John Cena defeating King Booker's Court, King Booker and Finley in a tag team match. Tim, we have a question. Is there pineapple on that pizza?
What do I look like to you?
There you go. There
is the toppings on a pizza, on my pizza. Pepperoni and bacon.
That sounds like a tasty pizza.
That's the
All right.
pizza.
And then we go to 2018. Vince, Stephanie, and Shane McMahon, along with Triple H, held their highly talked about You Are the Authority segment on Monday Night Raw from Sacramento, California. And those were the events that occurred December the 17th in pro wrestling history. So now, Matt, I know that you are not a meat eater. What is your proper pizza toppings? Like what would be at the top of your list?
So mine are more vegetable based. It's typically for me mushroom, black olive, and onion on mine.
Sounds tasty. Ryan, cheese, plain.
I do enjoy a plain cheese pizza.
Bottle caps.
I do smash bottle caps. I usually throw away my utensils and everything afterward, so I don't have to do the dishes. No, I'm a sausage guy. I like sausage on a pizza.
There you are.
Oh my!
I'm gonna get that clip and get it on the soundboard. For
Anybody here order a big sausage pizza? Yep.
I like the crumbly sausage. I like the dicey sausage, the choppy chops. It's so good. I love sausage on a pizza.
You don't like the round sausages.
Tim, where's that pizza from? Give the Pat's down in Maryland.
Yeah, I feel like every town has a fucking Pat's pizza.
It's the same chain.
Is it really?
Yep, they stretch.
Everybody,
I'm not that far away from you guys.
There's a Pat's in Lancaster.
I'm literally like an hour away from you guys.
It feels like forever.
I know.
I'll say that.
Kind of a hike.
Especially. I mean, Ryan. You know, it's not just past the outlets to Philadelphia, and you're in another state. That might as well be across an ocean for Ryan.
You know what? Here's the deal. It's usually about a 3.5-hour trip down to Delaware. So that's what I assume everything south is. So Tennessee, it's all about 3 hours.
And if Ryan's getting to Maryland, he's going to the beach.
I took the wrong turn, or I'm just sneaking into the little island at Ocean City. We went to that Ellsworth show, didn't we? Once that was in Maryland, right?
It was, right across the bridge.
Yeah.
Speaking of Delaware, Ryan, have you had the Mama Grotto pizza yet?
I have. That fucker was delicious.
It is.
And it gave me some of the worst heartburn I've ever had. And I was burping garlic and oil for like 3 days. But goddamn, that was delicious. It is the best grotto pizza I've ever had.
I'm not as big of a grotto proponent as you two are, but that one, I think with the thicker crust to make up for the abundance of sauce that they always put on the pizza.
That is very correct.
Made it so much better.
The chunky tomatoes, it is an experience.
Yeah,
I prefer their like boneless wings. They have the Grand Slam
sauce is delicious.
That was really, really good. I don't know, and I'll get like a sandwich sometimes. They have like an extra cheesy cheesesteak. I know you're really big into cheesesteaks, Matt, so you ought to try that one time.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I do have to check out that Mama Grotto though.
Oh, Jim,
I can't wait. I can't wait to go to West Virginia. There's a banging pizza place over there called DeCarlo's. They do a pizza that's like the Mama Grotto.
Oh my god!
But it's like a whole
just a whole sheet
big
tray
giant.
of pizza.
And like the way they cook it is weird. Like they cook it just the crust and sauce. So it's crust and sauce in the oven. It gets cooked. They bring it out. Then they put the cheese on the hot pizza and the toppings, and then close the box and send you on your way.
I could get behind that.
So the cheese melts from the it's I was very skeptical, and then I had one, and then I had 4. In a 3-day trip, I ate 4 pizzas. I have a problem. It's called I don't have any DeCarlos here.
Intern Mark, what is your go-to pizza topping?
I'll tell you what, I like the green peppers. I'm a green pepper fan, and I hate to admit it, I do like ham and pineapple on pizza too, but just ham and pineapple, not mixed with anything else.
Yeah,
ham and pineapple.
I'm not opposed to the Hawaiian pizza, although I've heard that pepperoni and pineapple is greater than ham and pineapple.
I ordered a chicken and pineapple. Someone here in the house ordered chicken and pineapple. That sounds really good.
Yeah, I could go for that.
Now, Mark, what was I heard you broke up a little bit. It was green peppers and Hershey Kisses.
Green peppers and Hershey Kisses.
Okay.
Well, if you put the kisses on there right when they come out of the oven, it melts just right.
It's like one of those
Not too
cookies,
runny.
right?
Jeez,
Oh, it's like one of the cookies. It's so good.
Now, Mark, do you also
So good.
like the pizza flavored Kitkats that they came out with?
They're pretty tasty. They had them up at Chocolate World. They had a flavor like little ones with some pepperoni flavor in it. They were a little different, but the cheese ones were pretty good.
Let me tell you, the best thing you could have ever got at a Chocolate World, and I'm sure they still have them, are the macadamia nut Hershey Kisses.
Oh,
why do you got to be a dick?
Oh, they don't have them anymore.
Why are you a dick?
Shane McMahon.
Fucking do it.
Do it again.
Don't do it.
Here comes the money.
I mean, I got to do something.
Money talk.
Obviously not, because we all want to buy the macadamia nut stuff and they don't want to supply it.
Well, I mean, I told you guys that was Mark's doing. That was
He's
an
the mayor.
experimental thing. They were like, let's run this as a test product and let's see if our number one customer buys into this. And Mark bought a single bag for himself, and they needed at least 5 to greenlight this moving forward. And, there's 4 others of us in this group. We do a Christmas exchange every year, not this year because we're not going to be able to get together, but, a perfect time for someone to give a nice sweet treat. The holidays, everyone likes to snack. Just didn't happen. So they were like, you know what? If Mark's not going to buy more than 1 bag of these, what's the point? And they scrapped it.
I'd like to go on record right this minute, speaking of Christmas exchanges, and let everybody know I was such a good boy, and like back in March, got everybody their t-shirt. And I've sat on them all fucking year. And it chaps my ass that this was the year that I was so prepared with everybody's Christmas gift early that you guys are going to get 2-year-old t-shirts next year.
I'm gonna let the record state that I haven't done a single moment of Christmas shopping. Yet.
I'm not Christmas. Oh, that's a good beer, Matt. I am not Christmas shopping this year because of the obvious, but
sure.
But yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy it.
It's what night of Hanukkah is this? Is this night
I
4
think
or
it's
5?
over tomorrow.
Is
Yeah,
it?
I think it's 7 tonight.
Happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your party's so lame.
It ends tomorrow. Yeah, this is day 7.
Yeah.
So what's on the 7th day of Hanukkah, my true love gave to me
a goddamn dreidel.
Now,
I mean, one.
Something dreidel spinning has to be one of the gifts in the song.
I got 7 pencils.
It's the 5 dreidels spinning.
That makes sense.
Devin's pizza topping is extra cheese, bacon, and pepperoni. So he's right there with you, Tim.
I would have thought Devin would have been like mustard and tuna.
I would like to give myself credit for actually spelling Hanukkah correctly today. I know it's a very difficult word to spell.
Like they have the celebrity cameo things that you can buy. Did you guys hear? I think it was Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson Did somebody ordered a Hanukkah greeting from Smokey Robinson, and he wished them a happy Chinooka?
Chinooka. Hell yeah.
And he goes, I don't know what Chinooka is, but hope you have a good one.
So you can buy a cameo from Floyd Money Mayweather for $1,000.
Money well spent.
Why?
Well,
Snoop Dogg is $1,200.
That's insane.
The entire Wu-Tang Clan is $360. I think that's an investment for the podcast.
that is, I mean, cash does rule everything around them.
That is true.
True.
I'd do a cameo for $5.
Well, Mark, how much was the cameo that you got from Bowser for Andy the Winner Weinberg?
That was I still owe Bowser $5 for that. He didn't have change for 20, so he told me just not to worry about. I said I'll get you next spring, and that's 3 years ago.
Brett the Hitman Hart.
10, 50-cent pieces at this point, right? From Rob's that you can give him?
Oh,
I think I got it.
yeah, I
Cue it up.
Hold
on.
This is Smokey Robinson. I know you didn't expect to hear from me, but I was contacted by your sons, Jeff and Jared, and they told me that you used to live in Detroit across the street from me. And gosh, that's beautiful. How you doing again? Nice talking to you again, I guess. But anyway, you're living in Vancouver now, and they wanted me to wish you happy Chinooka. I have no idea what Chinooka is, but happy Chinooka because they said so. Anyway, God bless you, babe, and enjoy Chinooka. Have a wonderful time.
Enjoy Chinooka.
Enjoy Chinooka.
Enjoy Chinooka.
So I actually booked. That's the resort that I booked when we're going to West Virginia. We're actually staying at Chinooka.
Oh, okay.
It's right outside.
Chinooka.
It's right outside of Wheeling. Chinooka.
There you go. You know what? If there was a town, if there was a town Chinooka in West Virginia, I probably wouldn't even be surprised. There's a town. Right. There is a town in West Virginia that is called Man. Man, West Virginia. If you miss the traffic light, you have missed Man, West Virginia. By the way,
there it goes.
Maybe they got a second one since I was there last. It was when I was in high school. Okay.
What did you do when you were in Man, Jim?
I was
were
down
you
there
deep inside Man.
I was like in the middle of Man.
No one's ever really deep inside Man.
Yeah, no, it was. I was.
You spend the night in Man.
I spent a few nights in Man, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I ate pizza in Man. I slept in Man.
What were the toppings on that pizza?
Actually, I think it was just pepperoni. I had pepperoni.
Salty, huh?
Yeah, definitely salty.
I heard that the city motto for Man is there's no embrace like a man.
I don't recall, but that you might be
there.
right.
I mean, I saw you buy the shirt.
I worked really hard in Man.
That feels like one of those damn Hollywood Squares questions. Because that could be right. That absolutely could be like their town motto.
Yeah, I know. I like that. That's why it's possible.
And I feel like Gilbert Gottfried would be like, I think that's right. And
then as soon as they say, I agree, he just screams, you idiot.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Okay. Well, now that we've taken a trip in and out of Man and learned that Ryan is a sausage guy.
Christmas movies.
Oh, Jesus. Let's revisit that again. If anybody wants to.
I'll tell you, there's one Christmas movie that's a goddamn train wreck.
Oh, is that are we making funny, Ryan?
So is the animation in Polar Express creepier than the Year Without Santa Claus Rudolph stop motion animation?
Yeah, I love that animation.
I don't really find the Polar Express animation creepy.
I just think the Polar Express is not a good movie.
A good book.
Sure, I don't
It
read.
is a good book.
If the book was good enough, they'd make it a movie. They did, yes.
They did. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that.
But that doesn't mean that all movies based on books are good. Like Harry Potter series, questionable.
Like
Twilight, amazing.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, I say I don't. I can't validate that. Or
did anybody read the book Not Another Teen Movie?
Yeah.
Is Gremlins a Christmas movie? Yes.
Yeah.
One of the characters' dad dies in the chimney during Christmas, and they never talk about it again. Like, yes. Gremlins.
Just like Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, Christmas movie. Yes.
Accurate. So like Tim, last week you had a very passionate, strong case about why you did not like A Christmas Story. So what is your case against A Polar Express?
I don't feel I don't like it. I don't hate it.
Okay.
But I just
So you're just not a fan, as opposed to like a
soundtrack
Christmas Story.
Soundtrack is on point.
Like if I'm driving through Christmas lights somewhere, like a botanical gardens or whatever, and you put the Polar Express deal on, just have Josh Groban just sing all these offshoot Christmas songs at me, and I'm fine.
You made kind of a disgusted face there, Ryan. What's
No, it just sounds like you're a Josh Groban fan.
I mean, I do like Josh Groban.
Who doesn't?
He's sultry, and he has sung his way into my. He sung his way into my heart.
I mean, he's no Michael Bublé, but he's a very good Christmas crooner.
I mean, who is, if we're being honest.
Right.
Speaking of Michael Bublé, if you've never seen the SNL sketch Ham and Bubbly,
Jingle bells,
do that when you're watching this show. So Charlie is contesting Gremlins as a Christmas movie.
On what grounds?
He said it's not. He said it takes place during Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie. So Charlie, I'm going to fire back at you. Are you one of these people that dares to be wrong and say that Home Alone is not a Christmas movie? I'll wait for your answer as we hit that point.
So Bad Santa then would not be a Christmas movie, correct?
By this logic, there's a lot of Christmas
because
movies
that's just a crook stealing shit during Christmas time, right? Is that
right?
So yeah, like
I mean, in the end, it has more so the message of Christmas, I think, than a film like Gremlins would. But
and it's got Fortune Feimster in it,
right?
So there is I'm actually going to link this article. It's from my affinity of movie theaters. I am a Regal snob.
Okay.
I love Regal. I can't wait for movie theaters to open back up. I will pay for the Regal pass or whatever it costs once it reopens because I'm going to go to the movies so much I'm going to have to get a temporary address change. I'm going to be taking my laptop to work, asking for the Wi-Fi, and working through about 4 movies a day.
Working at the theater.
Yeah, like, sir, where do you work? I work at the Regal down the street. What do you do? Oh, I work for customer service for a computer, a tech company that helps nonprofits raise money. Huh?
Well, that's a movie theater.
So the article in question is basically stating the evidence for and against Gremlins being a Christmas movie. If the movie's overall setting is not enough to persuade you, the whole town is wrapped up for the holidays in lights and decor. It's a Wonderful Life is playing on the TV. Even the premise of the movie is set around a Christmas gift, which is Gizmo.
Gift, right?
Gizmo is a gift. After some negligence and high maintenance of the fuzzball, the town gives you constant reminders of the season, including Gizmo playing on a keyboard in a Santa hat, and the evil gremlins singing Christmas carols and getting jolly at a local bar. If Regal says that Gremlins is a Christmas movie, then it's a Christmas movie.
What's Charlie's favorite topping on a pizza? Hot dogs and cornflakes? Like, fucking.
I love you, Charlie. You're the best.
I do too. He's a good guy.
Always.
Too sweet.
He's a VA boy too. He'll get this reference. I think he'll get this reference if I drop "Bang a Lot of Guys" in the if I drop that, I think he picks it up.
So yeah, like I'm right with you, Tim. Like I just last year got back into going to the, like, for years I just hadn't gone to many movies. Went to a couple last year and was like, I really love going to see movies at a theater. And then fucking COVID happened, so I'm going to be right there with you. We got a local theater here.
Cupid's isn't a theater, Jim. You have to pay to watch the movies there, but it's not a theater.
Before we actually get talking about wrestling, I have a question.
Yes, Tim.
Movie theaters reopen, and you have your choice.
Santa's Little Helper.
Of the first movie you get to watch in theaters. You're choosing Santa's Little Helper?
Fuck, of course not. The Christmas Bounty was far superior.
I say, aren't you watching one of the Marine movies with the Miz, Ryan? Isn't that
which one? There's so many of them.
Wow, first movie that I can watch in a theater.
You can pick from any movie. Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna pick Rudy?
No, because I really
on the big screen you can really see that he was offsides. It ruins the whole fucking thing.
Oh, what an asshole. Fuck. Assuming it's during a hockey season, I'm gonna go Slapshot because I've never seen Slapshot in a theater. I have seen Rudy in a theater, even as an adult, for its 25th anniversary. Matt, I'd like to know your answer to this question.
I think it would be twofold here. So if we're just talking IMAX experience, then Inception, I think, is a movie that you have to experience in the IMAX screen. But if you're going more 3D, and I never experienced this, and I heard I really missed out, you have to go and see Gravity in 3D. So if I get the choice to see Gravity in 3D, I would go do that since I missed out on it the first time.
Charlie, the question was, when movie theaters reopen, what's the movie that you pick to watch? Any movie. You can pick any movie. What's the movie you pick to watch in a theater? Tim, since you asked the question, what is your answer to this?
Well, as Tim's mid-bite, I'll interject here and say that when they did the re-release too of Jurassic Park in 3D, they also put it on the screen in just like regular 2D on the big screen. So to go back like as an adult and see Jurassic Park on the big screen was a ton of fun.
So my thought process on my favorite movie has changed over time. And so I'm going to pick my current favorite movie of all time. And it is the, oh my God. Okay, I got it. It is the Jeremy Renner and I believe it's Amy Adams film called Arrival. I love Arrival. Like if I could get the theater experience again, because it's dark and gloomy for the most part. A lot of like ambient sounds that you pick up much better in a theater experience. Just seeing that again, it reminds me that I'm actually due to watch the movie again.
Nice. Ryan, I assume not another teen movie.
That would be up there for sure. I mean, if it's a movie that I've already seen in theaters,
I mean, it can be any movie. It could be.
I think Jurassic Park's a great choice. I've never saw that in theaters. It's one of my favorite films. I like the entire franchise. So I would probably say the first Jurassic Park. I think that still holds up today for sure. I remember I saw like Twister in the theaters. That was really cool with all like Tim had said, like all the sounds that you really heard and picked up. I saw that at like the Effort of Maine in like the second row, so I was like up the whole time. But I would probably enjoy that again.
Yeah, Jurassic Park would be a good one. I as a kid, and now keep in mind my brother is 3 years older than me. We went to see Jurassic Park multiple times, and we had to leave during the movie every time because he got scared. And I was like, can we stop bringing him? Like when in the theaters, I never saw the end of the movie because we kept leaving. Like, when you hear the water's rippling and stuff, like I never got to see. So like when we were going home from like the second or third time, I was like, stop bringing him. Like, let me go and let me see the end of the movie.
But to this day, has Sean seen the end of Jurassic Park?
I don't know. I do need to ask him that. I don't know if he ever has. But yeah, he always got freaked out.
It sounds a lot like my experiences with with the Christmas Story. Not just because somebody was scared. I just never watched it because it sucks.
Oh my god!
I just always walked out after the first short story. I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's right. The fucking lamp leg. I'm out of here.
Devin says Guardians of the Galaxy. Charlie says Matrix or Rogue One. Scotty says Derek Carr is apparently out. I guess he got hurt. Intern Mark, what would be your movie? And then we promise we will get to talking about wrestling.
E.T.
Yeah, I was gonna say E.T.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
E.T.'s a good one. Or I have a lot of fond memories of going to see Groundhog's Day and Wayne's World at the old Dutch Wonderland movie theater.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy hell.
I think I saw Dumb and Dumber there.
They had a very good arcade at that one. Like, this was before, like, you got the arcades like they have at Regal now. So they had like more than one game that like didn't work half the time. They had at least like 5 of them. And one of them was a shooting game, I think. So it was like when you went to the Dutch Wonderland Theater, you were like, I get to play some video games beforehand too. Or like when my mom went to see Bridges of Madison County and I got out of whatever I saw early, I could spend like 30 minutes.
Hell yeah, that was the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely the way to do it.
Did that Dutch Wonderland area, maybe not the same building, but they had like a wax museum there, I thought.
Yeah, they closed that up too. The wax museum's going. I remember they were selling the wax figures, and they were just creepy.
How many did you buy?
I was gonna say that feels like something that you would purchase.
Bowser.
Yeah, believe me, I had a lot of friends send me the links to buy the wax figures.
Yeah, that's a little much.
I may or may not have a few.
Yeah, that's something that's a piece of like memorabilia that I don't think I could have in my house. Those things, like, I can go to a wax museum, but that's creepy. That'd be creepy.
Right. It's got to be blow up for you to bring it home, right?
Oh, no, of course. You got to be able to deflate the thing, obviously.
So like all the movie theaters when we were growing up are now gone, correct? Like it's just Regal and Penn in the Lancaster area.
Yeah, Maine's still open.
Isn't there the new one?
Penn owns Maine, I believe.
Yeah. Penn Cinema bought Maine. It's called like the new Maine now, and they redid it, but it is still at the same location.
Because they had like the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought there was a new one that they built right across from Park City.
Real cinema or something like
where
that.
the Wegmans is, yeah.
God, I love Wegmans.
Because when we were growing up, there was like the cheap theater by like where the Sheets is now, next to the Eden Resort.
Yep.
And then there was the Kendig Square cheap theater.
Kendig's still there.
Is Kendig still there?
Square.
Yeah, I think it's still
there.
there.
I didn't think it was still there.
I don't think so either.
I forgot all about the Eden Theater.
But there was a Queen Street Theater that was
Queen Street,
where the like new convention center is.
Queen Street, where I saw Rudy for the first time.
Is the Zotropolis still in Lancaster?
Oh God, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, Kendig's still there
in downtown.
No shit.
Yeah, Kendig down there in Willis. I mean, obviously not open now, but
there are new releases to them down there. So.
By the way, welcome to 3 Count Thursday, your wrestling podcast.
Yes.
This is exactly the type of podcast I love to do. To be completely honest,
how much wrestling did you watch this week, Tim?
I watched 20 minutes of Raw, and I watched the Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone commercial.
Okay, yep.
And I watched Sting back up Taz's Maniacs.
Yep.
And are we not counting like the wrestling I put on before I go to sleep? Because if not, okay, then that's it. That's it.
No, we don't usually talk about that Pornhub stuff.
That's it.
I watched the Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes announcement on Twitter.
They're having an alien.
I watched previews for the movie The Wrestler when it was on the DVD I put in to watch Just Friends.
We'll count it.
Great movie. Underrated Christmas movie.
What, the wrestler?
No, Just Friends.
Oh, yes.
Just Friends is one of my most quotable Christmas movies. Like, my friends and I always just say random quotes from Just Friends, even though it's like not a go-to Christmas movie for a lot of people. It has a ton of great moments in it. Ryan, you would enjoy it.
I'm sure.
That's one I need to buy. Like, I need to build my.
Who's in that? Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, on a
sounds
part.
like the,
You know what? I might have seen it.
You might have it. You don't even know.
Best Friends.
I own a lot of movies.
Okay, so we were spitballing a topic today in our group chat, and actually, you know what? Before we get to the top, we'll preview the top
smart
commercial, and then we'll get back and talk about it. But it kind of, in a way, I think is kind of like appropriate for the fact that this is the 2-year anniversary of the We Are the Authority or You Are the Authority promo, because, like, 2 years later, there's reports that Vince and company are very unhappy with the lowest ratings of all time or whatever.
Vince wants to fire all of us as the Authority.
The Keith Lee and other hosses in the WWE being sent to the Performance Center for extra work, things like that. So there's been a lot of unrest, if you will, in the wrestling community. So I think it's appropriate that we're going to talk about how we might fix the WWE. So with that, hang with us. Charlie says he watched 5 seconds of Raw, turned it off, caught up on Ring of Honor and MLW, and he, of course, watched NXT last night. So stick with us here. We are going to take our break. When we come back, we are going to fix WWE and much more. Stick with us. 3 Count Thursday live.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Welcome back, Three Count Thursday. Easy for me to say. We are live here on our Facebook page. We're glad to have you with us, and want to remind everybody this is our last live show.
Forever,
or until 2021. And you know what? Honestly, at this point, I don't even know if we're actually going to get to 2021, because I feel like 2020 is going to just throw us a curveball, and end of New Year's Eve is just going to just continue. There's either going to be a new month or extra days in December or something. And at this point, I wouldn't even be shocked by it. But yeah, we will not be live next week, Christmas Eve, or the following week, New Year's Eve. We will have content, though. So if you subscribe to us on social media, and you absolutely should, or you subscribe to our show on any podcast platform, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, all of them. If there's a podcast platform we're not on, let us know and we'll make sure we get on it. It's like we will make sure that we get on it. But we will have content dropping, both video and audio, so you will be able to hear from us during your holidays, but we will not be live the next two Thursdays. So yeah, let's Tim, I think this was kind of the topic you presented in full, so I guess I'll lend the floor to you.
I appreciate that. So full disclosure, I'm piggybacking off of an idea from Ryan. Ryan pitched a good show topic, and we group thinked it all together. But WWE, you've all been following the news. I'm sure you've seen the reports of how WWE is unhappy with the way that the television product is currently. Especially since AEW last week beat all 3 hours of Raw. Of course, people are now up in arms, and you piggyback that off of what Big Jim mentioned with Keith Lee, Otis, a whole bunch of the Haas's. They're all getting sent back down to the Performance Center for like training and basically, don't get off your feet, pal, or whatever, training or whatever. There's a lot of commotion or perceived commotion. Again, this is all from the dirt sheets. It could all be rumor and innuendo, but we're here to make lemonade. So and those are the lemons we've got.
Before we get to like fixing the WWE,
what's first diagnosed what the problem is.
Sure, but like the whole people getting all like pissed off about like Keith Lee and Otis and Dio Madden and a couple of the other big guys being sent down. Like, why are people like and I think it's more because Keith Lee was in the group. I feel like that's where the biggest part of the problem is. But like I feel like at no point in anybody's career should they be done training, learning, refining, etc. Like, right? Like, am I wrong here?
Have you ever heard of Allen Iverson?
That's
practice.
Yeah, like I mean, every athlete practices. Every athlete work. Like if I whether you've been in a business for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, like there's ways to improve. There's ways to get better. I don't necessarily see why this was such a big problem.
I think that's under the assumption, Jim, that the wrestler shows up on Monday and performs and then doesn't do anything wrestling related for the rest of the week. And I don't think that's necessarily true. If you want to be a professional, I think you're at least hitting the gym. I know lots of wrestlers have rings themselves, share rings. Natty's bumping around with Lana. There are people.
Her and Tyson have a WWE ring in like a gym space or a warehouse.
Here's the deal. I have it on really good authority. She stole that. That's fucking stolen. She just took it.
She just showed up at the Thunderdome one day and just walked out with a ring.
Walked right out.
Just carried it underneath her arm. I think another part of the issue, though, Jim, is that like with most traditional sports, like if you're playing a receiver position, like your wide receiver, tight end, even running back, and you're dropping balls, your training is to go out and catch balls, and you're just catching balls. I remember when Tiki Barber was the running back for the Giants, he had a huge fumbling problem. And then all of a sudden, he learns to carry the football up here, and he like never fumbled.
Sure.
So like with the WWE though, this is kind of subjective, not so much objective in the you're dropping the ball or you're fumbling. This is you're not wrestling the way WWE wants big men to wrestle.
Okay.
Like, Keith Lee is doing too much. Otis is maybe doing too little. I've heard that DeAndre the Giant, The reason why he hasn't been put in the ring is because he looks really impressive outside of the ring, and then he gets in the ring and he's not so impressive no more. So
like Giant Gonzalez.
Very Giant Gonzalesian. But like I don't want to like be
so
like
then, like, just not have him wrestle.
Right.
And something just came out this week about Renee Young. They didn't put her in the ring. She's trained, I think. They didn't put her in the ring because they had something real special with her doing commentary. Why ruin it? They have something real special with the Andre the Giant. Just have him stand there and look really tall.
Right. But I really think that a lot of the crux of this is around Keith Lee. Absolutely. And like the thing with Keith Lee though is he's so, and I don't want to use the word special,
limitless.
He's a unicorn. Like,
yeah,
he's the NBA feared it for the longest time. Big men who could shoot the three, they could put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Until eventually now, the big brooding center who just stands underneath the basket and catches rebounds is a dinosaur. And all progressive centers in
dinosaurs in AEW.
Yeah, but like the game evolved.
Come on, Jim. They just signed Sting. You don't have to call him that.
the game of basketball evolved to stretch beyond the 3-point line for all positions, and everybody's got to handle the ball. Keith Lee, he's a big dude in the sense that he's thick, but he's like 6'2".
He's a real big dude.
He's 6'2", 6'3", 300 pounds. And the only thing he does that's not big man like is he leapfrogs and he drop kicks and he like, that's it. Bam Bam did that. Like Vader did that. So why can't Keith Lee do that? Is Keith Lee just getting, what is the disconnect? And like, who is the set of eyes looking at Keith Lee in the WWE that thinks he needs more polish? Because you think in NXT, he didn't need that polish. Triple H let him go. Triple H let him do his thing.
He had a good theme song there, though.
He's got a good theme song now.
Not as good as NXT.
True.
I also wonder.
He had better trunks in NXT.
He did. The gear was better. I also do wonder too if part of this isn't a product of the pandemic as well, because there's no house shows. Like I feel like some of these like working issues, quote unquote,
but Keith
could be
Lee
played out a little better at house shows.
Yeah, but Keith Lee's not.
With the question, Jim, like, have you watched Keith Lee and been like, man, he needs to like go back down and tune some things up? Like, at any point has that thought crossed your mind?
There's been a few like Keith Lee matches on Raw where there seemed to be like timing issues, whether it was him or somebody else in the ring with him. And this past Monday on Raw, like when he tried to do like the shoulder tackle, which like launched a dude, like him and Morrison, it didn't connect. Like it looked real bad. And that may have been on Morrison. I'm not necessarily putting that on Keith Lee, but there has been a few points where, and I don't know if it's because the speed.
But even on timing issues, though, I mean, we've seen that with a number of people who have never been sent down before, too.
Nia Jax.
Chris Jericho.
I was going to say Ryback, but like, so like we have seen that in the past where it's just
Titus O'Neil
kind of accepted. So like,
but isn't that, I mean, again, this isn't to be super choreographed. JR just came out with a great opinion of things like AEW and super spotty wrestling and things that look super choreographed. So in true combat, Jim, if you and I were hossing around, it wouldn't look very smooth.
No, and I'm not necessarily saying it is just timing issue. There's just been points in a couple of his matches that I've thought, that wasn't, it didn't look like the Keith Lee that we saw in NXT, and I don't know if that's a differentiation of style from NXT to the main roster, and that's why maybe there's a little extra work. But also in the same time, like I thought too, if and we're talking like 2 like training sessions or what have you, like shouldn't it also be said something that they value him enough that they want to work with? So like,
right,
if they
no,
like,
right.
this guy isn't working our style right, but well, I'm sure it'll fix itself, and a lot of times it doesn't with a Ryback or with somebody else, because we see how well their WWE careers ended up.
I think we're putting a ton of emphasis on the in-ring, which is the wrestling aspect of the World Wrestling Entertainment, but we're not necessarily putting a ton of emphasis on the stick. And I don't think Keith Lee works a microphone that great at all.
I don't disagree, but I mean, if you look at a lot of like the big names that they push, a lot of them, it just kind of goes with the look. Roman Reigns being the prime example. His best promo is when he took out the mic and said, "This is my yard now," and dropped the mic, and that's it.
Sure.
That's less than 5 words. And I think his best work has come when he's had Paul Heyman in his corner. And then you also take someone like CM Punk, who was fantastic on the mic, and still put Paul Heyman in his corner. So I don't know that there's necessarily a ton of emphasis placed on how well you work the stick these days, because some of their best people aren't that great at it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's recency bias a little bit, because you go back to the Attitude Era that was solely based on folks like The Rock running down every opponent. And again, you can't do that without a crowd. Having The Rock call somebody a Rudy Poo candy ass and there's not a crowd to pop back to it. And I think that's understated in all of this too. Like, there's no crowd.
Right.
There's just not. So, I mean, you don't really need to promo, I guess, now when there's no crowd to react to you.
I mean, The Rock was also, 20 years ago?
Probably forever ago. I mean, Austin, it wasn't great, but did what he needed to do.
I mean, Austin 316 was almost 25 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like I think our best mic workers recently, it's certainly not Randy Orton. It's probably Cena and CM Punk. Like, who else has really cut fantastic promos every time that they come out that you could think of?
Enzo used to. Enzo Amore.
I hate to admit it, but he's not wrong.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a very good point.
The guy's a douche, but he was good with the stick.
He could talk.
You can't teach that.
And who did they push out of Enzo and Cass?
Carmelo.
Right.
What is Jim getting?
So, that's a mic. That's the
Enzo mic.
Yeah. But I think you're good on the mic is just as subjective as good in the ring.
Sure.
I think Randy Orton is great on the mic. He presents himself as Randy Orton. The Miz is fantastic.
The Miz was the one I was just thinking. The
Miz is always on the mic, always doing work. And Keith Lee has a delivery, has an inflection, has a style of his promo that is uniquely him. And especially in a world where everybody's pretty much doing the same thing, why not have someone do something different? That was the New Day. The New Day was the different thing that bucked against everything else. They were given the opportunity to fly and they flew. Not everybody has to be a great orator like Dolph Ziggler, like The Miz, like John Cena.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Bray is fantastic on the mic.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins cut some fantastic promos.
Dean, when he cut his promos,
pushed pretty good, I think, because of their ability on the mic. So, in retrospect, Ryan, I think you are right. The mic work is important, but you do need the crowd aspect to that. Like Daniel Bryan's whole WrestleMania buildup falls flat if there's no crowd there.
I mean, that's
absolutely right.
That goes along with the exact commercial they cut. Remember, they were talking about how important the WWE Universe was, and Daniel Bryan walks out and he does his entrance to no one.
Right.
Like,
I'd be really curious to see and to know. Obviously, we don't know how long the Thunderdome and no crowds and all of this is going to go on. I would love to know what the WWE, Raw audience, how they would handle Keith Lee's promo style.
I think they'd be absolutely fine with it.
Yeah,
I don't think that they're gonna call him boring. I don't
think they'll call him
just because he talks really smooth and he has that deep voice and he articulates everything that he says that he's gonna do. Like, it's almost like Elijah Burke. Elijah Burke cut the same style of promo.
That's fair, yep.
And nobody said Elijah Burke, aka D'Angelo De Niro, the Pope. Let me tell you, Pope, baby. Like, everybody, he had his own style. Sure. And Elijah Burke was known for being a silver-tongued dude. And it's
but let's I kind of strayed us off almost too far.
Right.
Let's before we can fix, and Tim, like you said, we need to figure out what's wrong.
And I think this is a controversial answer.
Okay.
But I think I know the answer.
Go ahead. We'll let you go first.
I think it's Bruce Pritchard.
Huh.
Drew goes back to being Drew becomes the Scottish Warrior.
Wait, but that was your favorite. I
hate Scottish Warrior. Like, Warrior is a 90s crutch. Ultimate Warrior, Texas Torn, the Ultimate Warrior was named because of all the other warriors in wrestling. There was the modern day warrior. There was the Dingo Warrior. He's the warrior of all warriors. He's the Ultimate Warrior. It's like Bruce is giving Vince everything Vince wants. Like, he knows the Vince playbook. So he's like, Scottish Warrior. Let's put him in a kilt. We're going to send him out there with a big sword, and he's going to be the Scottish Warrior. Not the badass dude that was going out and taking the fight to Randy Orton. Not the dude who... This Scottish Warrior is not the dude who cracks Brock Lesnar's paint. That's not the same guy.
I'll agree with that.
I think that there's too much hands from Bruce, especially now that Bruce runs both Raw and SmackDown. It's become a very homogenized, same product.
But I don't feel like, and maybe, and I've always said that one of the problems, and especially right now, and I understand why they haven't changed it. It goes back to Triple H and Stone Cold on the Stone Cold sessions or whatever it was, whatever they used to call it. But USA wants the third hour because no matter how bad the ratings are, it's still bettering anything else that's on USA Network. They want that third hour. But especially right now, in an era where you have a limited roster for various reasons, and 99% of them are probably valid. 3 hours is a long show. It is a long show because SmackDown, I watched SmackDown.
Right.
I haven't watched either show every week for a little while. But when I was watching Raw and SmackDown just it feels better. I can't. Now, I think some of the product was better, but I also feel like the fact that it's 2 hours, they have to get their shit in quicker, more concise, and in a more detailed fashion.
Outside of the Roman Reigns stuff right now, SmackDown feels like a long show.
It does.
It really does. I mean, I think you're thinking like the Roman Reigns stuff, the Fiend stuff. There was so much good on SmackDown that those 2 hours blew by.
Right.
Outside of Roman Reigns and the La Familia, whatever the fuck they're calling it, it's a slow moving show anymore.
Okay.
Like you have to recall, like, Roman is going to be responsible for like 2, maybe 3 segments on SmackDown. Because you're going to have the big tribal chief promo. You're going to have a small cut in the backstage with him and Paul and whatever. And then they'll be involved in the main event with Jey Uso somewhere. The issue, though, is that SmackDown has only 2 hours to play with. It is tougher to fill 3 hours of television. So you have to dig into B and C line stories to keep things on the product. Like, it's not limited. I wouldn't say it's limited roster. I think it's limited creative ideas.
Possibly.
Like, think of everybody on Raw that they've misused, or not misused, but even like mismanaged to the eye of the people. Like, there is a 5-person group on Raw called Retribution. Why isn't everyone from Retribution doing something? That's 5 people. That's 5 angles. One's a woman. You can group 2 people up. That's a tag team. There's a set of tag team titles, aren't there? There's a women's title, isn't there? There's 2 singles titles. Why isn't Mustafa Ali trying to talk his way into the WWE title picture? Yeah. Like, why not? Why isn't, like, Dijakovic or whatever, he's not Mace, he's T-Bar. Why isn't T-Bar, as the big dude from Retribution, why isn't he trying to beat up Bob Lashley? What happened with the Hurt Business versus Retribution deal? Like, you've got all of these people. Like, it baffles me. Like, I'm going to the WWE website right now, and if I switch this to Raw, AJ Styles is doing something. Bob Lashley, I don't know what he's doing.
I mean, he's the U.S. champion.
Yeah, but that's it. Like,
I mean, whatever Hurt Business does, Bob Lashley goes.
Right, and so you've got Braun Strowman. He's hurt.
I mean, you do need to get Bob Lashley into a feud as soon as you can.
I agree.
But he also, who does he have to feud against? Like,
who?
Roberto Lashley, WWE United States champion. Dabba-Kato has not been on Raw since he got drafted. Cedric Alexander's the Hurt Bob Business. Lashley. Drew Gulak is in the 24/7 title. Elias is with Jeff Hardy. Eric from the Viking Raiders is doing nothing because Ivar's hurt.
The Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders.
I got it disappeared.
Okay.
Man, our sound guy is really loud.
Man, we gotta rake him over the coals. There it is.
There we are.
You've got Grand Metal. You've got the Lucha House Party minus Kalisto. You've got.
Wait, Tim, did you say we have to rake our sound guy over the coals?
Yeah, I gotta.
He raked my back. No, he didn't literally rake it.
You've got 2 of the 3 members of the Lucha Booties, Humberto Carrillo, Jeff Hardy again. He's partnered with Elias. Jinder Mahal not doing anything. The Miz and John Morrison are.
Jinder blew his knees out again.
Who, Jinder?
Yeah, Jinder's out. He had knee surgery in November. He blew his knee out again.
Damn.
Isn't he doing NXT India stuff?
I don't think that's a thing. Keith
Lee.
Yeah,
it is.
Really?
They just announced that last week, I think.
Really?
It was that, or I dreamt it, but it was him and the other tall dude.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
NXT India.
Yeah, because it was him and
Great Khali.
Great Khali.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
Who was the guy that won the Battle Royal over in Saudi land?
That is Gosh, what is
that
his
was
name?
Dabakato.
No, it's
Mansoor.
Mansoor. Yeah,
not Mansoor. I almost said Mansoor.
Okay,
Grill
so
Monsoon.
keep staying on track.
Yes.
Keith Lee, I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of mismatched in like the upper mid card. You've got the New Day, who are fighting Miz and Morrison, I guess, but also fighting the Hurt Business, I guess.
Yeah.
Retribution, we've already talked about. MVP, we've talked about. I'm not even talking about the women, but like Lacey Evans, Lana and Asuka and like Shania are like the only 4 women on the roster. Not Lacey Evans, not Mandy Rose, not Naomi, not Nikki Cross, not Peyton Royce, not even really Alexa Bliss. Like Alexa Bliss and the Fiend, what are they doing?
Right, they're just packaged.
Like, they're just together. Like, so you've got pieces, but there's no focus. Now, I will give you this.
Give it to us, Tim.
Raw did do a really horrible rating in December, the same time they always do bad ratings.
Right.
Like, historically, this is the dead period. SummerSlam to the Royal Rumble, and you get some spots in between. There's nothing happening.
Like there's kind of a reason.
Like nothing.
Like it's not coincidence.
And how dare you? I remember a fantastic December storyline where Alberto Del Rio's driver hit Santa Claus in his Cadillac, and he almost died on SmackDown. And you're gonna sit there and tell me that they do nothing between this time and the Rumble?
No idea who that is.
Alberto Del Rio had to almost kill Santa Claus for us
Who the hell is this?
to think about wrestling being fun in December. Like
I'm
we
still
get
not convinced that wasn't storyline. He probably was just driving drunk.
He probably was. He didn't know
ran
what,
into their prop Santa
He
Claus.
just
and was
he
like,
saw the long hair, thought it was Paige. It was a mess.
Got it. And so, anyway, so what happens though? It's typical WWE fare. Like now they're gonna overreact.
Sure.
And they're probably gonna do something crazy for the Royal Rumble. Like
good.
Eventually they'll pull out of whatever funk they're in. There's a lot of hurt people right now too.
There's hurt people. And I also think like, you know, they're not, because like I feel like sometimes when you have a full roster in the back, sometimes things will get thrown together just because they're like, oh, so and so, we haven't used you in a while. Let's put you into this.
The 24/7 championship.
But I feel like that's not really happening right now because they're not just bringing people to the building if they're not going to be used. Yes, Matt.
I just want to point out that Tim said they're going to do something crazy at the Rumble, and Jim said good. So when Goldberg wins the Royal Rumble, Jim has to come back.
I'm sorry.
I mean, but honestly, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. WWE puts themselves in these holes where they're like, we need something big. Like we tried on the, you can hear it now. We tried on the Keith Lee experiment. It didn't work. We tried Otis. It didn't work. They're going to do the same crap with Big E.
Top suspect.
They're going to do the same thing with Big E. And then they're going to resort to reaching out to their old bag of tricks. And they're going to reach for guys like The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, The Rock, somebody to come in and do a big pop on the rating and or to get a buy rate or to get people talking. Like, regardless of what people think, like when Goldberg comes back, it does reach a part of the fan base. It's like, yo, I remember Goldberg was cool as fuck in 1998. I bet he looks just as cool now. And that's enough for them to buy the WWE Network and look and see old man ass Goldberg doing something. Or
Oops, I crapped my pants.
Or
I mean, he was still bald and his beard was still gray in 1998.
At the very least, it's getting them to look more on the YouTube product. They're following the Twitter product more. Like the name Goldberg still resounds with a fan base that remembers when wrestling was the hottest.
I mean, and
so does Ric Flair. He doesn't have to come back and wrestle.
It's not a coincidence.
But he can't.
It's not a coincidence that in the month of December was when Sting debuted with AEW. Like, I don't think that's coincidental. Like, you know, because it's
you can't do Winter is Coming in fucking summer, Jim.
Right. I mean, especially in Florida. Okay, so we've at least now, I mean, quicker. Besides Bruce Pritchard / creative, does anybody else have like what is broken before we can get to how we can fix it?
You absolutely have to get rid of that piece of shit Thunderdome. That is your problem. It looks the exact same for Raw, the exact same for SmackDown. It does absolutely nothing for me. I wish they would have slid Raw and SmackDown into the CWC for a week while building the new one and see what that product likes with even a smattering of live people to react in the moment to what's going on in the ring.
I'll go one step further. WWE, for the most part, has been shot and directed by the same guy for over 30 years. Kevin Dunn.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Like, the shaky cam,
I hate the shaky
the Kevin Dunn shaky cam, the way that wrestling is presented on TV, with the exception of AEW and NXT, is the same. And even NXT to a certain degree is getting the backwash of Kevin Dunn for the most part, unfortunately. But it's like AEW looks like a different product. They hold on shots more. They choose different camera angles. The way they present it with the ramp behind the ring, like, it's a different look and feel. And WWE,
at the same time, AEW misses some shots. AEW has really bad shots when action falls out to the ring and the camera's too close.
Agreed.
So the WWE, while it's boring and very vanilla, they have perfected that for the most part. Except for Edge.
They've had 50 years.
You're right.
To perfect it.
And you're a major cable television show. It should be that way both ways.
If you rewatch the 2020 Rumble, they have fixed that in post. So you get the Edge spear when he comes in the ring, by the way. I agree with both of those. Like, I mean, the Thunderdome is what it is. I mean, right now it's a shit situation. Do I wish that they would have some sort of live fan interaction there? Absolutely. I like the CWC for NXT over the Thunderdome.
See, I'm cool with the Thunderdome.
I also don't have a problem with the Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome is WWE's answer to the NBA bubble.
I was gonna say the NBA did it. It's a product of this period of time.
What's kooky to me about the Thunderdome isn't so much like the virtual fans. I get that. But it's literally because of the Thunderdome, we're hearing like all of WWE's tricks. They're piping in crowd noise, cheers,
slap
and
their
boos.
leg when they do kicks.
They're piping in "This is awesome" chants.
Yeah,
they're piping in like the New Day claps.
The fans are still taking pictures and flashes are going off.
Like it's almost too unnatural. Like they're trying to make it as natural as possible. By doing so, it's unnatural.
I don't dislike fake crowd noise. They got to work on the mix for sure because it does get too loud. But like to me, I'd rather have ambient crowd noise in the background than it to be quiet.
But that fake crowd noise only works if there's no real crowd. Like if you've watched NBA preseason, you've seen they don't still have that like viewers like they did when they were in the bubble. It's just empty arena, pumped in crowd noise, and it feels the same.
I think it works for things like NFL games because you're not seeing video boards behind the action with crowd faces. You just assume the arena is full and you are zoomed in on the action.
But they can do that with wrestling.
They can.
They won't.
Ring of Honor does it.
Yeah, and they won't. And like that's part of WWE's problem. Is that like WWE
they cling on to stuff well past the expiration date. They do it with their superstars, and they do it with these like new fun things that they can try out. Like it was fine when they did it initially when it was working in the NBA bubble. But then like I feel like NBA saw like we shouldn't keep doing this as we bring our season back, because they haven't.
And they're not going to. Like they're gonna, There's no way they could set up the virtual fans in all 30 arenas across the NBA.
Especially because some of those arenas are going to double for hockey.
Right.
Like they physically can't. And
it's not feasible.
No, not at all.
It's not feasible, but I also think they kind of saw that it wasn't like adding to the experience for the viewers. Like when I was watching an NBA game, it wasn't like I was paying attention to the crowd at all. I don't necessarily pay attention to what's going on in the Thunderdome, but it's still also a glaring presence that kind of demands your view at some point during the match, especially when there's a break.
How much do y'all want to bet that the Thunderdome to Vince and them isn't for the TV product? It's for the workers. Because he did no crowds for the longest time. And then they went Thunderdome, and WWE, like, sometimes I felt a certain way about like Sasha and Bailey when there were no crowds. Because like you react some type of way in the live feel when you have an audience. Perceived as real or actually real, it's pumping, your adrenaline pumps a different way when you're in an empty arena or when you're in a full arena.
I mean, I would agree that I think it's more for the worker, but I also think that behind the scenes in live events, you know, because you had the NBA virtual fans, and because the live events industry's been trying to figure out ways to do anything, that this was a sign of things that were being worked on and things that were coming down the pipeline. The NBA had done it, and the WWE was like, we can do that too. So while it was for the workers, I also think it was because it gave them an opportunity to do something that was going to be happening in the industry anyhow. Not the wrestling industry, but the events.
To me, it feels like they also just wanted to be different than what AEW was doing, because AEW was first with their workers being the fans, and then WWE did that, and we all kind of saw the comments of, oh, well, WWE's just copying AEW. And I'm sure Vince heard that too. He's like, well, we need to stop this and do something else.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even then,
certainly reactionary to that, I'm sure.
But even then, like, if you look at the way AEW did workers in the crowd and the way WWE did workers in the crowd, AEW had heels and faces cheering heels and faces. And in WWE, it was cheer the good guys and boo the bad guys and no personality. I know that's Xia Li at ringside. I know that's like Casey Canizaro at ringside. So like
Casey.
Like I believe that, but like you tell me that this big dude over here cares about the little babyface guy in there, he looks like a bad guy. He shouldn't be cheering for Finn Balor. He should be cheering for Kyrian.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did.
Like,
okay, so we've identified some problems. Now comes the question of how do you fix it? And I think the picture Ryan shared to us was like, if you could move somebody from main roster to NXT, maybe it involves that, but how, we can go around the room. If somebody wants to start, volunteer, feel free. But like, what would you do to fix the WWE? And that's assuming, I think, Tim, like you said in our chat earlier, you keep the Raw still 3 hours, SmackDown still 2 hours, NXT still 2 hours. Because the easy answer is Raw should be 2 hours. Make Raw shorter. Even do an hour and you like that. To me, that's an easy answer, cheap answer. So how would you fix it? Who wants to go first?
We can go.
I mean, mine's real simple. We just signed a brand new deal with Tropicana Field, and you did the exact same thing. You have to change up the Thunderdome, if not get rid of it completely. Here was your chance to do something different, to just make it look different. I think Matt used a great word. I think we've passed the expiration date on the way the Thunderdome looks. You could have, I don't fucking know what you could have done.
What would you do different then? Like,
I would have made it look smaller and kept it like a CWC feel. If you're going to have some folks there, I feel like you just need to have people truthfully react to what's going on in the ring. Here's the deal. We've all called matches. Jim, I know on the four of us minus Tim, we've called big shows for the Pro Wrestling Empire. Hell in a Cell matches. We've called NWO spots with like Bischoff. Like those were electric moments, and we as commentators played off of that emotion from the fans. It always does. I do AECW every month. Sometimes the house is lower. Maybe it's a snow day. It's hard to get that emotion. Whereas a packed house, you play off of that, and you absolutely want to perform better in front of screens. Jim, I mail it in on this podcast every week because we do it through a screen. That's the honest truth. I'm only here because you tell me to be here every fucking Thursday.
I truthfully haven't noticed a difference from when you're sitting next to me to how you
every Thursday. Yes, you have. I don't bring French fries over. There's no delicious candy.
That's true. I don't get candy and fries, but in terms of your production on this show, exactly the same.
Oh, for real?
I mean, Ryan used to be a little more dancey in the older episodes.
The bar is set low.
I mean, Ryan did come to the pre-show, post-show topless tonight. I don't know why he didn't keep that. I don't know why.
Sorry, I froze up there.
You're good.
I don't know why he didn't keep that for the actual show. But see, yeah, maybe that's the thing. And if we would have been live in studio, maybe he would have remained topless.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
I was say, I know for a fact Ryan will not take his shirt off for the remainder of this show.
He is pantsless. Either way.
Goddamn right.
Wait, are you guys wearing pants?
No.
50-50.
I say, like, why?
What? One leg on?
No, it depends on the day.
Oh.
I mean, some days you just don't feel like it. We're quarantined.
Tim, how would you fix the WWE product right now?
So you have to change. Well, it's the biggest problem I've had with WWE. You have two different shows that don't look different. Make Raw and SmackDown look different other than Red Mondays and Blue Fridays. Like, change it. The Thunderdome is based on the intro to SmackDown.
Right.
So if anything should keep the Thunderdome look, it's SmackDown because it's the intro to SmackDown. But Raw, there's nothing raw about Raw.
Raw should be in the CWC.
Or Raw should like things. You have to change the look between the look and the feel, whether that's how it's like people shit on it, but Raw Underground was something different that Raw did that SmackDown didn't, that gave separation on the product. And personally, in going along with that, you can't have Raw and SmackDown have the same head of creative. You can't. I get one mind, one vision, one WWE. I get that.
One Vision, great Queen song, by the way.
Like, I get that you want singularity and you want everything to feel like the WWE. But Soda, the Coca-Cola company owns Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite,
well, even
Barks.
just look at
it
like
doesn't all taste like Coke.
Right.
It doesn't all look like Coke. It all tastes different.
Sure.
So make it be different. It's not that hard. And your characters need to be the same way. It's not cookie cutter.
Yeah, for me, like, make things make sense. Like, because, you know, you broke up the two Conics. Why? Because now Peyton's just in a tag team with Lacey Evans when she's there, and Billy Kay's on SmackDown handing out promo pictures.
Right.
Like you broke up the New Day. Okay. So it seemed like Big E was going to get a push. That's kind of faded. Why?
I mean, he's now
Big E could have got a push with the goddamn New Day still on SmackDown.
He could have, but I don't necessarily have a problem if you break up the Iconics. You broke up the Rockers and Shawn Michaels became Shawn Michaels. Like Peyton Royce could be an all-time female talent if you do it. Like they broke them up and have done nothing. You break up the New Day and it's kind of, you know, and there's conflicting reports that like Big E, there's no big plans for Big E at WrestleMania. Like to me, it was like, okay, you break him off, you know, you kind of, there's a little bit of up and down, he wins the Royal Rumble, where then he builds a product to WrestleMania. I get it can still happen, but it doesn't feel that way right now.
Maybe Jim, you have uncovered the answer to all of this, and it is undo everything they've done from the draft, because everything seemed to be going pretty well. The Bro was on SmackDown, Styles was on everything seemed to be going well, and I think this was the worst draft they've had ever, and this is the result of it.
Yeah, like it just none of the things they've done, I'd say, in the last 2 months, you know, with the exception of like Roman, you know, Miz getting the, you know, Miz being Money in the Bank. Like I've actually been enjoying that because it's, you know, I'm when's he going to do it? How's he going to do it? Is he going to win? Like there is some intrigue there, but
Couldn't they have just done that with Otis though?
Could have
just like have Otis do it,
but like, you know, I don't hate the Miz with the briefcase is my point, but like a lot of what has been done in the last 2 months since the draft makes no sense. Like make it make sense. Like that's whether it's a big roster, small roster, whatever, no matter how large the show is, make it make sense. Matt or Mark, what is something you would do to fix WWE right now?
The easy answer is they're in Florida where there's literally no rules. What is stopping them from having a live crowd? Like Vince is not a moral guy. I very highly doubt he gives any fucks about the pandemic. So what's stopping him from just letting fans into the arena to watch on a weekly basis? I mean, if that's the easy answer, then take the easy answer. I don't necessarily condone it. I don't agree if they started having this, but what's stopping him at this point? I mean, the governor doesn't give a shit.
I think what it might be though, Matt, is they may not have a venue that's large enough for the WWE product, but small enough to account for a smaller capacity crowd. Like Daly's Place is the perfect venue. Like AEW is so fortunate that Tony Khan owns Daly's Place. It's an amphitheater that's big enough to hold wrestling, small enough to have just the right number of fans in attendance. You've got the backdrop of the TIAA Bank Stadium, so they can do other things around the venue. It's perfect.
I mean,
and WWE doesn't have that.
I don't.
But what's stopping Vince from just buying something like that?
Or finding a place,
Or
like,
buying the Jaguars.
Because, like, I mean, they're obviously they're paying to be in the Amway Center. They're paying to be in Tropicana. Like, why would you not find another? There's got to be another amphitheater or something along those lines. And I get
then
like
then it has to be because of their production.
I guess they don't want to do the amphitheater thing because then again, it's too much like AEW.
But even if they did an amphitheater, you've seen the WWE production.
Massive.
Multiple production trucks. They're pumping out so much power.
Right,
Like,
they're not doing these snakes and sparklers like AEW is doing for their pyro.
No, and like the
They're
Tron.
doing Husker Do's, Husker Don'ts. You know, they're doing them all.
Like, so many LED boards, and like they are like the difference between the production setup between the WWE and AEW is, yes, they're both the circus. WWE is Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and AEW is the Universal Circus. Like, the Universal Circus is still dope, but it's not the same bells and whistles as Ringling Brothers.
That's
like,
fair.
it's not the same. You get two different feels from both.
Right, but the Young Brothers focused on elephants for far, far too long, and people got the shits of that, and that eventually ran them out of business.
Correct.
But again, when the pandemic's over, we're not going to see the Thunderdome anymore. You know, we will see.
It'll be a great day.
So I mean, like, why not take advantage of the situation you're in at this point?
Well, the Thunderdome is realistically, they're going to be in Tropicana Field until like March or April.
Right, but I feel like the Thunderdome is very expensive for them to put together. Like, that's money that they probably could utilize doing something like it, even if it's paying fines or something like that.
See, you got to remember though, they just cleared a whole bunch of money off the books by firing a bunch of people. So that's all found money. They can reinvest that back in the.
How much were they really paying the Bennettts? Let's be honest.
Plus, they probably cut some
$1
salaries.
million.
Sending all the fatties back down to the training center, so they probably like skimmed some of the salary off the books there too.
We figured it out. They're not doing training. They're filming the next WWE film. It's WWE Heavyweights at the Performance Center with all those big tubbos.
I would watch.
Cut it out. I have a glandular problem.
Coming to Disney Plus in January 2021, WWE Heavyweights.
Yes.
Intern Mark, what's something you would do to fix the WWE?
Oh man, well, the lack of live crowds for me personally really has been something that really, I'm so sick and tired of seeing the video screens. I really do enjoy NXT because there are some fans, quote unquote fans, and same thing with AEW. And even the storylines, I think, I couldn't tell you really what's going on Raw or SmackDown right now with storylines other than Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, and I think The Miz and Keith Lee have something going on. But I tell you what, this is probably the most disinterested I've been in Raw and SmackDown in a very long time. I do keep up on NXT every week, but it's a better storyline. And I think WWE brought up some like Riddle and Keith Lee way too soon out of NXT, and now they've done nothing with them again, and it's just very disappointing. So, yeah, better storylines, get some live crowds in there.
I think everybody's general consensus is we are super hot for Roman Reigns. We're super hot for The Fiend. Tim is super hot for Randy Orton. These are guys that we don't see wrestle much at all. What was that sound?
It's the explosion.
Yeah.
Like they're just not wrestling on Raw or SmackDown. So short of a talkie segment, I'm not going to make it through 3 hours of Raw to see The Fiend have a Firefly Funhouse.
Right.
And the fucking little squirrel thing show up in the back and Riddle talk to it.
So like the two people you mentioned that we're both really excited about, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, have recently, or as recently as a year plus can be, have changed their characters to be something captivating.
That's fair.
Roman Reigns is doing some of the best work that anyone has done in wrestling right now, on the mic and in the ring. Paul Heyman or not, like this tribal chief, head of the table, show up and win.
Free the nipple.
I mean, again, is this really Roman Reigns, or is this a creation from story writers given to Roman Reigns?
Either
way, we wouldn't shit on Roman Reigns back in February for dumping dog food on anybody. That was given to him by a writer.
Right.
So I mean, again, we're not talking real life people here. These are characters.
Right.
And the writing sucks.
Right. And Paul Heyman, like, you have to think Paul Heyman has his hands on it. Matt.
So speaking of Bray Wyatt and him being one of the most hot wrestlers in the company right now, my friend Jason commented on the post earlier. Do we think that there is coming to the point where it's oversaturation with Bray Wyatt in the cinematic matches being as how good he is in the ring?
We'll find out this weekend.
Right. I mean, that was the question that we posed on the Facebook page, and that was his comment. I mean, this will be at least the third, if I'm not missing any, cinematic matches for Bray in 2020 since the pandemic started at like WrestleMania. So 3 in 8 months does seem like a lot for someone who is, as he said, very talented in the ring when he gets the opportunity. Is it kind of like we're just playing off of how good the cinematic matches are for Bray, and they might kind of go to that well too often at this point?
If it's still good, it's still good to me, But again, it's when does the show jump the shark? You know it when you see it. If it's this Sunday, then it's this Sunday, and we'll get through the Slammy and TLC predictions in somewhat rapid fashion. But
but do you like risk getting to that point where you do jump the shark with someone as hot as The Fiend is this year? Like, do you even risk that?
I think that's also why you got the Alexa Bliss integration with The Fiend, and obviously, she may or may not get it. I would imagine if this cinematic, she's probably going to be involved in this matchup somehow. So I think it's probably still going to be okay. And you're hoping that 3 months.
I don't think it's a problem.
And maybe 3 months from now, you don't.
Yeah, that was more my question. Like, do you have those concerns though going into this?
I don't. I
Okay.
definitely don't.
Well, Jim, I know you don't. Like, of all people, Jim's gonna love it either way. It's already an A+ in the report card that Jim filled out.
It's a pay-per-view. This should be something that is captivating. We're not seeing cinematic matches week in and week out. Totally fine with it.
And we haven't seen him as frequently as we did before. So
Okay. I was just curious, just because
it's a good question.
Of all the people that we have seen in the cinematic matches, The Fiend certainly dominates those
because he's a perfect fit for it.
Sure, and that's fair. I mean, of any of the people that you're going to feature, the Fiend is the obvious choice for that.
Yeah, he's the most movie-like of everyone in wrestling.
And like with this one, especially, like the story is there. The story has been presented well, and it goes back to the previous one years ago with him and Randy.
House of Horrors
match. So there's a lot.
It certainly does make sense this time too. I just get his point where you have one of your best wrestlers who can go in the ring, and you're just relying on him on these matches where you have the ability to say cut and let's try this again because that wasn't what we know you can do.
Fair. It's definitely a good and fair question. I did see that one earlier, so thank you. Any closing thoughts on this before we get to Slammys and TLC?
I guess my basic thought would be, and this goes back to like the rise and fall of the ECW when Paul Heyman was talking to the ECW. I think the WWE needs to figure out what their positives and their negatives are, and they need to hide the negatives and accentuate the positives and try to make the best of what we can until we get back to business as usual.
I'm just
hopefully soon.
I'm looking forward to a very prosperous 2021. Like, I'm curious to see what type of magic they pull out for the Royal Rumble, because they're going to. And
they need to.
We could forget all of this ever happened in a month. But it just sucks that WWE relies on big one-time events to make us forget 3 months of pain to get us all excited again.
And I mean, I think all of that is exemplified. Like, it's magnified, not exemplified. It's magnified this year because time is irrelevant, and it's all within its own capsule. So, we'll see where we get with the Royal Rumble. And like Charlie said, I go back to the first brand split where they had two completely different brands. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, that goes to Tim's point with splitting creative. I think that's, to me, that's like the easiest and probably best answer.
So okay. Who is the craziest person right now that we see in the Royal Rumble to try to hook an audience?
Goldberg. The winner, Bill Goldberg.
Because I listened to the Renee Young podcast, I'm going to say CM Punk.
Yeah, I was going to say I have it in my news and rumors.
CM Punk, he addresses exactly what it would take for him to come back.
We'll get to that because I saw that clip last night, and to me, that's an open invitation. But we'll get to the reasons why. So I'll go with Tim, and I'll say Punk.
I listened to the Renee Dupree podcast, and they didn't talk about that.
They've been busy talking about Pat Patterson.
He said that's exactly what he said. It's going to be the hologram of Pat Patterson.
All right, let's go to part 2 of our Slammy Awards. We gave out the first half last week. There are 5 categories this week. These again were pulled from WWE.com. This one, ring gear of the year: Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Seth Rollins, The New Day, Bianca Belair, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Carmella. My favorite, and they've been my favorite gear overall for the last good while, is The New Day. There's always something new, always something different. It's always something pretty fun. So I like the New Day. Ryan.
Were there specific gears
not
to look at?
So I think there might be.
Really?
Because on Twitter they posted specific pictures with each person.
Is it the color spot one for the New Day?
It's it's the Gears of War gear.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
okay. Well, I didn't see those. I was just pulling this off WWE.com.
Yeah,
and there wasn't anything even linked to it.
I'm gonna
go gear in general.
You could go gear in general.
I'm gonna go gear in general just for sake of us.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. I would also say New Day because I like the white one where you like would have to color it in. I thought that was unique.
That was good. Tim.
I mean, I'm also gonna go the New Day. They've always gone the extra mile to do something creative and fun for themselves throughout the entirety of the year. I mean, you look at their Basquiat gear from WrestleMania with Kofi Mania. Well, that was the tail end. It was last year, but like this year they had the color by numbers for WrestleMania. They've had their 90s throwback that had like all that and like Nickelodeon slime and stuff like that. And their Gears of War gear was pretty sick too. But I'm also going to give a honorable mention to Bianca Belair for the simple fact that Bianca makes her own gear.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bianca makes her own gear. Yep.
I didn't know that either.
I love her gear.
Every gear she does her own hair and she does her own gear.
It was the New Day and her. That those were the two that I was debating. So
she is the EST of gear making.
If I would have known that, maybe I would have actually given it to Bianca. So intern Mark.
Well, for the reasons stated above, I'm going to have to go with New Day. The creativity and behind it. There's so much to the gear. There's 3 of them, so there's so much gear. I'm going to go with New Day.
All right, very good. Since Matt is coming back here into the shot, Matt, ring gear of the year. Did you hear the nominees, or were you already out of frame at that point?
Natty.
Is that your final answer?
Sure, why not?
Awesome. Then we go to breakout star of the year, Dominic Mysterio, Bianca Belair, Otis, the Street Profits, and Murphy. I got to go with it. Like, I would have never, and I don't think if without a pandemic we don't get him in this spot one way, anyway at all. I'm going to go with my boy Otis.
Tomato chips.
With the Money in the Bank, unfortunately, it kind of did tail off here at the end, but overall for the year, I go Otis. Matt, we'll go to you.
I mean, hats off to Jim for throwing his vote away for a third-party candidate there. It's clearly a 2-person vote between Bianca and the Street Profits. And between the two, oh, man, I'm just going to go with Bianca just because I'm a bigger fan of her at this point than the Street Profits. But I think they both had very good years.
Very good. Intern Mark.
I got to go with the Street Profits. It's hard to argue that they didn't have probably as good as yours are ever going to have. So I'm not a big fan of them, but I do respect their work. And let's go with the Street Profits. I got the smoke.
All right, Tim, who do you got?
For me, my breakout star of the year will be the Street Profits. I don't think they're gonna. In my heart, they should win it, but I think they're gonna win other awards and they're gonna swing it around. But for me, nobody broke out better in 2020 than broke out and was consistent as the Street Profits.
Fair. Ryan.
Consistency is key. And I want to thank you, Tim, for repeating what the category was, because I was checking Twitter and didn't hear a goddamn word that Jim had said. So you set the table for me. It is absolutely the Street Profits.
All right, very good. Then we go to female superstar of the year: Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. If I would have made this award in the summer, it would have been Asuka hands down, but especially over the duration, the consistency, it came down to Sasha and Bayley for me, and I'm going to go with Sasha because here at the end she got the title win and she actually defended her title. So well done, Sasha Banks. Ryan.
This goes to Asuka. If it's a true fan voted thing, the fans would vote for Asuka. If not, I think Bayley carried the ball and was a real trooper. So I'll go Bayley.
Tim.
I'm gonna go Asuka. Had a strong beginning of the year, wins Money in the Bank, earns the WWE Women's title in its stead, holds it, loses it, retains the title, is challenging for the tag team titles, challenging to be double champion, still currently the Raw Women's Champion now. I don't think you can beat Asuka.
Intern Mark.
I don't think anybody's ready for Asuka.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So I'm gonna go with hi. I'm gonna go with I gotta go with Asuka. I thought she had a great year through the no crowds. She's been so entertaining. So Asuka's got my vote.
Very good.
Thank you, Asuka.
I would like to say shout out to the 4 horsewomen for all being nominated on this award. I think that's pretty awesome. Like all these years, they have still stayed pretty true to their dominance in that. She's on my wall. I love Sasha Banks. She's my favorite of all time, but it has to be Asuka this year. I think she's just absolutely killed it. She carried the women's division, I think, when we were all just kind of wondering what was going to happen. And I would love to see it go to Becky just because on a personal level, she's having a fantastic year. But if we're talking in ring, it has to be Asuka. Yes.
That was my question. Like, is Becky's January to WrestleMania worthy of being in the talks for superstar or female superstar of the year?
No.
Like, she's getting by on previous merits, and like it speaks to like the lack of depth.
Right. Like who? Okay, so who would be your 5th nominee?
Dana Brooke
for female superstar of the year,
just for smashing that picture.
Shayna.
I mean, and Charlotte's been out since.
Shayna's had a very good year. Nia, for all the jokes, has had a good year.
She's not like most.
I really enjoyed what Lacey Evans was doing earlier in the year. I mean, we all thought she was going to get pushed to the moon prior to the Money in the Bank. So there are opportunities to put new people. Lana's had a good year too.
I would say Alexa Bliss should be on in the discussion over Becky and even Charlotte.
And here's another spot. Like, unfortunately, like I get that this is the WWE Slammies,
right?
But like NXT,
right?
Like they do. NXT does their own year-end awards. I get it.
That's true. That's fair.
But also, like, why not include them in Survivor Series? Why not include them in part of the Slammies? Like, I
read somewhere Triple H had a thing. I don't even know where it was, but it was right around War Games, and they were like, "Look, we're really cool. The WWE or Raw and SmackDown have Survivor Series, and we have War Games, and that's how it is."
Well, I think
I don't know if we're going to.
I mean, that's a solid company line from a company guy.
That's fair.
I think the reason they weren't involved in Survivor Series is because of truly because of the pandemic, and they were just trying to keep more people out of the building than needed to be. I really do. Like I truly think that if the pandemic doesn't happen and things are normal, I do think NXT is involved in Survivor Series.
I mean, if you expand it though, like Rhea Ripley did have a very good 2020.
Io Shirai had a really good 2020.
Shotzi Blackheart had a very good end of Q3, start of Q4 to 2020. So
yep,
you could put a lot of people in this that they left out, but at the same time, that's kind of WWE's MO. Like, remember when Rock Cena won Match of the Year and it was just Rock Bottom versus AA 17 times a piece? So
thing sucks.
Vince is gonna Vince.
Sure. All right, then we go to male superstar of the year. Drew McIntyre,
Otis
Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, or The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And just due to like length of period of time, I think the right answer is Drew McIntyre. Like I'm sitting there looking at Roman Reigns, and from the time he's returned till now, by far he's the big dog. He's the tribal chief. He's the head of the table. But I look at who's the guy that really carried through the bulk of the empty arenas, and to me that's Drew McIntyre. You go back to Royal Rumble, you go back to WrestleMania. To me, it's Drew McIntyre. Matt.
I've never been so disappointed in you, Jim.
I like how Jim was like, he is the head of the table. He is as if Roman Reigns is right around the corner and is going to spear you if you don't acknowledge him as.
Come on now.
He is the big dog. He is.
Matt, who's your male superstar of the year?
I mean, this was the year that you could have said Bray Wyatt and it would have made sense. It's Roman Reigns. I mean, that's the obvious answer, but there's a very clear argument for Bray Wyatt. And of all, nope, not even going to go on a rant. Roman Reigns. That's my answer.
It's her, Mark. Who do you got?
Boy, initially I was really thinking Drew McIntyre.
No, you weren't. Don't even do that.
Mark.
You were not thinking that, Mark.
Don't let that influence you.
I was thinking McIntyre. Honestly, I was, because he had a really strong beginning of the year with Lesnar and WrestleMania and everything. And I tell you, Roman Reigns is coming in so hot at the end of the year. I'm going to go with the Fiend.
That's fine. I love that answer, Mark. Great answer.
Perfect. Tim, who do you
bet? I'm glad I didn't upset you.
So,
Damian Priest.
There's no way in the history of ever, if I ever say Damian Priest is the superstar of any year,
sauce it.
I have COVID. It's a fever dream. I'm being held under duress. Someone pay the ransom and let me go.
Okay.
Like,
who was the wrestler of the year in Keystone Pro Wrestling in 2017?
The Lancaster City Police Department.
Hey, ring them up. My
my.
answer for male superstar of the year.
Way out of line. Way out of line.
I picked Drew McIntyre as my overall superstar of the year last week. I don't think they're going to give him both.
Fair.
So they're going to give male superstar of the year to the next best. He had not one, not two, but 3 Dynamite programs throughout the duration of 2020. He's responsible for the greatest wrestling match ever. It's the Viper, the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer, Mr. RKO Man, Randy Orton. Like, Randy Orton, by far and away, male superstar of the year. Aside from Drew McIntyre, he's been around the entire duration of the year. He's been involved in the most main events. He's in that picture.
Reigns came back and none of you saw it coming.
Randy Orton has been freeing that titty since 2003. Roman Reigns is a little late to the titty party. Even though now he is the head of the titty committee, he was not even a member of the board for the longest time. Maybe if the Fiend let some titty meat out, we would be talking about him. But then again, JoJo knows that once Bray starts pulling that titty meat out, everybody's gonna want 2 scoops of Bray, and she needs that.
Denied. Go to 101soundboards.com to access this sound.
I like that sound. That's a good one.
Yo, shut up.
What is happening?
Alexa, shut up.
What in flying hell?
Don't do like
That's my own.
Go to 101soundboards.com.
There it was. What the hell?
Oh my.
Ryan, I have the Out of Nowhere shirt just for you this week.
Such a piece of shit shirt.
Ryan, who's your male superstar of the year?
I gave the superstar of the year to The Fiend last week. There is no question in my mind the man that should be the male superstar of the year. He was victorious at WrestleMania. Oh, so it absolutely is Drew McIntyre. No questions asked. That guy went through hell, and you guys don't have to like him in a fucking skirt with a little sword. That's fine. That guy carried the WWE on his back.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome, Jim. We don't agree often.
Because you two dickheads also liked the fucking main event at WrestleMania with AJ Styles and your quote unquote best in the world. I'm not saying his fucking name. So it's
He
not
just plays the
surprising.
music. You can
It's
say
very
Shane
on brand.
McMahon.
Very on brand.
He plays the music.
I gotta play the sounder. All right, then we go to Moment.
We're still doing this? Jesus Christ.
It's the last one. It's the last one. And then we got a TLC prediction. The Undertaker's final farewell from Survivor.
Yeah, that's the moment. Winner.
Drew McIntyre defeats Brock Lesnar.
Never mind. That's the moment, apparently. Apparently, I'm surprised you're reading this without a full-blown erection, Jim.
At WrestleMania 36, Becky Lynch announces her pregnancy Raw on May 11th, 2020. Edge returns in the men's Royal Rumble match back in January. The New Day's farewell address, SmackDown, October 16th, 2020. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman unite from SmackDown, August 28th, 2020. Bayley betrays Sasha Banks, September 4th, SmackDown. The New Day gets drafted to different brands on Raw.
How many nominees are there for this bullshit award? Jesus.
8. There was 8. 22. There was 22. My moment of the year, and it goes back to a faraway time when we had fans and people were allowed to be sitting shoulder to shoulder next to each other. It is 100% Edge returning at the Royal Rumble, without question. That's an all-time moment. Ryan, we go to you.
Absolutely, no question. Edge.
Tim.
Edge made me cry out of my eyes and my penis.
He did.
It was Edge.
I saw the eyes part. I assumed the penis part. Intern Mark.
Edge's return.
Edge. and Matt, who do you got?
I mean, yeah, Edge is the obvious answer, but shame on both of you for not picking your idol of the year, Drew McIntyre, winning at WrestleMania is the best moment since he clearly won the year, hands down.
Easily
no question.
I mean, he did, but also, like,
No.
it's not the moment of the year.
Yeah, it's not the moment of the year. It's the cumulative male superstar. The cumulative moment.
Fine, nope. Drew McIntyre. That's my vote.
I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre doesn't have 87 puppets and a fake house to live in.
I didn't pick fucking Bray Wyatt.
You picked the ooh-ah man.
Picked the bullshit answer because none of them were absolutely acceptable.
Okay, let's fast forward to this Sunday, live from the Thunderdome. It is the TLC pay-per-view. We have 6 matches as of now. I assume maybe something will be added tomorrow night on SmackDown. But let's start at the bottom here. The New Day, Kofi and Xavier, defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I keep thinking they're going to do it, so I'm going to keep picking it until either this feud ends or I just end up being right. The Hurt Business is going to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Matt.
Yes, Hurt Business.
Intern Mark.
No business like the Hurt Business.
Very good. Tim.
Hurt and Jerk.
There we go. And Ryan.
Roman Reigns. It's the greatest thing to happen in all of 2020.
All right.
The Hurt Business for sure.
Then we go to the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks defending against Carmella. Love Carmella. Wouldn't be shocked to see her win, but I'm going to say that Sasha retains. Devin says the New Day will retain their title. Ryan, who do you got? Sasha?
Sasha, of course. I'd be shocked if Carmella wins, unlike Jim.
Would you see it coming?
What?
Carmella.
What's the goddamn tagline for this stupid show?
Oh, let me find it. Hold on.
I was going to say, I don't know if I mean, I'm sure it has.
I'm sure it does.
Tim. I'll go to Mark next. Mark, Sasha or Carmella?
Oh, the legit boss for sure. Sasha.
Matt.
Sasha, 100%.
All right, very good. Matt, would you see it coming if Carmella won?
I would be more surprised than Roman Reigns returning.
Thank you. Tim, who's your answer and what's the tagline?
There is no tagline. Etch. No. Sacha.
Gotcha. Devin has Sasha as well. Then we go to the WWE Universal Championship. It is Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. No stairs this time. I know Ryback's disappointed. The man, he's gonna win. Yeah, I love Kevin Owens. Match should be good, but it's Roman Reigns. Matt.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about this one. I think it'll be a very good match, but in the end, Roman Reigns, the male superstar of the year, will come out on top.
Intern Mark.
Well, I won't see this pay-per-view because I buy pay-per-views based on taglines. So somebody let me know if Roman Reigns wins. That's who I'm going to go with.
Will do. Tim. Ryan.
Roman Reigns.
Mark, the tagline is "At least there's no Big Show stairs match."
All right, then we go to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against Asuka and a partner to be revealed later. Let's start with because we saw the injury angle to Lana. Who do we think the to be determined partner is? To me, I think this one is a easy welcome back Charlotte Flair. Ryan.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dana Brooke.
Perfect. Tim.
Woo.
Charlotte. Intern Mark.
Asuka and Charlotte.
Matt.
I mean, the obvious answer is Charlotte, so let's say Nikki Bella.
Perfect.
Eva Marie.
She's been training.
Did you guys hear what where Eva Marie might get partnered up with?
No.
So there's a rumor that she is the person that Angel Garza's been talking to.
Love it. Inject that into my veins.
Do you have the sound clip of Eva Marie's dad saying flat no?
Okay, who wins now? Who wins the match? I have Asuka and Charlotte winning the match and the titles. Ryan.
Team Shania.
Tim.
Charlaska.
Nice. Intern Mark.
Asuka and Charlotte.
And Matt.
Team We're Not Like Most Girls.
Very good. Devin.
You guys think Charlotte's coming back and they're going to burden her with those goddamn tag team championships?
You mean they're going to make her the third of the four horsewomen to hold all of the titles that you can hold in the WWE?
That's the only title she has.
The only thing she ain't been is damn King of the Ring.
You don't burden her with it.
King of the Ring.
And if they want to make those tag team titles mean something, you put them on the most recognizable woman in the company.
And her makeshift tag team partner, Charlotte Flair.
That's ridiculous.
Devin has Team Nia. Then we go to the Firefly Inferno match.
What the hell is this?
No fucking clue. I assume it's going to be some sort of cinematic house that is on fire. I don't know.
This roof.
But the Fiend's going to beat Randy Orton. Matt. Very nice. I'm still pissed that I waited and waited. I never got that pop, and now it's like $50 fucking everywhere, and it sucks. I screwed that one up big time. Intern Mark.
I'm gonna go with the Fiend and Smokey the Bear special guest referee.
Very nice. Tim, who do you got?
I still don't even know what the hell this match is.
I have no clue, but who's going
to? Tim is correct. Nobody's going to win it, just like any other cinematic match we've seen.
It's eye for an eye, right? Like they're not going to legit poke somebody's eye out, right? Like what's?
Well, no, that their budget for
you'll never see it coming, Tim.
For fishing lure balls has run out. They don't have the budget for another one. So
does the loser of this match become extra crispy? I don't get it. Like what exactly happened?
Sal Volcano's alter ego from Practical Joke.
Fiend, Fiend.
Ryan.
I do love that you said extra crispy. I do want to plug real quick Lifetime's original short, A Recipe for Seduction, a Lifetime and KFC collaboration. It is available now. It dropped December the 13th. If you have not seen it, it is the corniest, stupidest shit you'll ever see. It's
3CT watch along coming at you.
It's on YouTube. We should absolutely do it. It's got Mario Lopez as Harlan Sanders.
2 week shows, so
Mamma Mia.
Say, like there was one person in 3 Count Thursday that was just hating on this from the moment he heard about it, and now he's singing its praises.
Who?
You.
It's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
It's fantastic. It's Lifetime.
It is hilarious. So good.
Ryan, do you have a winner?
Intern Mark? He turned his camera away from his face so he could scream obscenities into the abyss.
I don't think we've actually.
It's 16 minutes.
I don't
That's
know.
all it is. You're in, you're out. It's so good. I changed my mind. I thought it was a for real movie. It's a mini movie. 16 minutes. It's so good. We do a watch along. Nobody wins this match.
It may be too late for me to watch it.
Here's the deal. Fuck you, Jim. We should all just go get some KFC takeout and then watch this film.
You should get some fried chicken from a local establishment.
Hodecker's celery fried chicken.
There we go. All right.
Count
So
me in.
Ryan, you say nobody's winning.
Yeah, it's gonna end with Randy Orton like dying or something, but the Fiend will win.
Okay. Then we go to a TLC match for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defending against AJ Styles. I have Drew retaining the Intercontinental title, the WWE Championship, but I say this is where we get The Miz successfully cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase, which sets up some intrigue going towards the Royal Rumble match. Ryan.
Frozen.
What?
No, Ryan. Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles, TLC.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew McIntyre. He is the male wrestler of the year.
Perfect. Tim, who do you got?
AJ Styles wins TLC, and The Miz cashes in on him.
Successfully?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Intern Mark.
I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre, the wrestler of the decade.
Matt, who do you got?
You know, this is all full circle, and now I understand it. Because Drew McIntyre, the wrestler of the year, would have no other worthy opponent than AJ Styles, who wrestled Shane McMahon at a WrestleMania. And he would have no other worthy opponent to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase than The Miz, who wrestled Shane McMahon and lost. So, I don't know where I'm going with this. We all lose. We all lose. Drew McIntyre wins because he is the only person who can beat the man who beat Shane McMahon.
Beat the Mac Man.
That is some convoluted Ric Flair shit there, but it works.
Good God.
You take my 50% and you add 66 to.
So that's TLC. We have 2 items in the news and rumors, and then we will get out of here. I promise you that.
Is anybody even listening?
There's 3 people listening.
Oh, hey guys.
3
What's
million
up, Devin,
people.
Charlie, and
Devin says Drew McIntyre is going to win.
You would.
All right. We alluded to this earlier. Tim did on an episode of Renee Young's podcast, Oral Sessions. She asked guest CM Punk what it would take for him
Punk
to return to wrestling. He said, without wanting to insult anybody on either side of the fence, any WWE talent or AEW talent, it would take above all an interesting scenario, a story that would be fun to tell. Also, just the stupidest amount of money, but they could save themselves a whole lot of money if they just presented a fun storyline. I think there's more interesting people on the AEW side because I've never wrestled them before. On the WWE side, I don't know that there's anybody that's currently there that I haven't wrestled that I'd be interested in wrestling. He then added, I feel like a shitbag even saying about the ton of money thing, but on the WWE side of things, there's baggage and stuff that has to be worked through. So I don't know how you get there. I really don't. Again, without basically a blank check, which is, I think, something we've alluded to over time. So, I love the question. I love the response. It obviously gets the rumor machine working on both sides of the fence. So do you guys think CM Punk lands anywhere, or did he just continues to be doing whatever it is he's been doing for the past X number of months?
He should probably try MMA.
I'm just surprised that Jim is no longer calling him Phil.
Isn't that wild?
I've cooled off. Time healed wound.
I want him to do whatever he wants to do.
Yes.
Period. If he wants to come back to wrestling,
come back.
If you want to stay the F away, then by all means, keep your ass home.
Because here's the thing: when he's on and wants to be there, he's real damn good. But don't just do it to do it.
But when did he half-ass it?
I'm not saying he didn't or that he ever did, but like if he's at that point now where if he's only doing it because there's a shit ton of money, then maybe
that's why I would do anything.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's why I would do just about it.
I mean, just about anything for a shit ton of money. Yep.
But I feel like if CM Punk is getting a shit ton of money, he's at least going to give you your money's worth. I don't think he's one of those guys who's just going to collect the bag of cash. Like, I don't know, Bill Goldberg. I think he would at least come in and have at least enough respect for, everything and everyone that he would give you a show if he's coming back.
The problem with your logic, Matt, is that in order to get the full CM Punk experience, CM Punk has to wrestle a 25-minute match. And to get the full Goldberg experience, you need about 90 seconds.
That's fair. That's fair, but to that extent, I feel like if you throw a shitload of money at CM Punk, he will give you a 30-minute match.
Fair.
I don't think he would be one of those guys to squash or get squashed. I think he would go in and give you a full-blown match. And Jason, who asked the question earlier about Bray, asked me at one time in our friendship what would be my dream WrestleMania match, and I told him it would be Shawn Michaels versus CM Punk.
I would have guessed Shane McMahon versus CM Punk.
I mean, it's a dream, not like unrealistic match, Jim. Let's come on, let's live on planet Earth here. Jeez. But that would have been my dream match, and I think he would still come back and give you that level of match and put someone over.
They're both still alive, and Vince has the money to make it happen, Matt. Welcome to Saudi Arabia.
Wouldn't be good at this point.
Probably not. Okay, and then the final item I have is Ric Flair was on ESPN The Jump this week. and may have spilled news about the WWE Hall of Fame having a physical location. He was talking about, I guess there's some like shoes that he's now. Tim, I'm sure you're aware of the shoes.
The Dame Sevens.
Are you going to be buying any of these shoes?
Unfortunately, the pair that I want to buy is only women. So the men's version is all blue, and the women's is white and gold. And the white and gold is absolutely the look. And those blueberry jaunts just.
But I guess that they're modeled after some of his robes. So he was talking.
Tim, you have a woman in your life. There's no time like
tiny feet
to buy
she
a nice gift.
She got big hobbit feet. I love her big hobbit feet, but she got big hobbit feet. She wear men's sizes. Her feet be big.
All right, that's fair.
I get it.
Hey, not everybody small and dainty. They don't.
Yeah.
Here's my little suit.
He said I have I had 36 or 38 robes. The gold one, the Dame 7 shoes are based on, was one of my favorites. WWE is actually in the process of building a Hall of Fame, a physical structure in Orlando. It's been delayed due to COVID. They want to put the gold robe in there as something that I wore. So this is, I mean, we've kind of hypothesized for a while that we thought there would eventually be a physical location, most likely down in Florida. So this is just kind of putting a little bit more structure to that long rumored thing. My brother lives in Florida. It gives me another excuse. My wife wants to go to Disney. I want to go visit my brother and my nephew. So put a WWE Hall of Fame there. You'll give me even more reason to make it to Florida.
If you can believe a 97-year-old at 6 o'clock in the morning at a goddamn TV show.
Jim, my senior question was threefold. So no, I'm not surprised there will be a brick and mortar show. Hall of Fame, yes, I will be buying the shoes. And yes, I am surprised that when you started that sentence off with Ric Flair spilled, it didn't end with some sort of liquor or bodily fluid.
In cup.
God damn it! This soundboard, I gotta fire this sound guy.
Please insert 25 seconds.
God damn it! Everything's a goddamn disaster on this today. Anybody have any other thoughts on that? That's the bodily fluid. No. Every time I want to hit that button, it's bad. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Ryan, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, it's RYNEAGLE. I don't know. Whatever.
Matt, you got anything to plug?
I do, Jim. Thanks for asking. So, of course, the 76ers season started back up preseason, but regular season starts on Tuesday. Jim, I know you're excited now as a 76ers fan. On the 3 Count Thursday YouTube page, we have started the 12 days of Christmas countdown, where we are giving you a Christmas Mad Libs with a wrestler every day. So today's was Billy Starks, but there have been 4 others at this point. So go to the YouTube page, check that out. We will have one every day leading up to Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, who knows? There may be nothing. There may be a good surprise. As they said in Bad Santa, they can't all be winners. So maybe you get nothing on Christmas Day. We'll see. And also stay tuned, because there will be some Christmas content where we do another Christmas draft where Big Jim rounds out the episode by saying that he will clean up all the wrapping paper that was on the floor on Christmas Day as his final pick. So at 3CT, the letter A, Philly, as in Philadelphia, number 8, that's me, 3CT affiliate on Twitter. And Notre Dame has 1 game left this weekend, and then hopefully 2 more. We'll see. But I'm super obnoxious this time of year on Twitter, so don't follow me.
This time of year. Intern Mark, we got anything to plug?
Oh, let's see. I want to say happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends out there. Festivus is coming up next week. and Merry Christmas. But we'll be back before that. Not live, but you know.
All right, very good. Tim, you got anything to plug?
Oh, yes, I do. At Another Tool Man across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, if you care. That twitch.tv thing's still open, but I'm never really there because all of my creative juices have been going into the sub first best podcast available for your ear holes. Obviously, 3 Count Thursday is 1A, and 1B is Final Wrestling Place. It is myself and my good close personal friend Marcus, where we talk about retro wrestling, or just kind of, it's not your everyday. It's a very different show than this one, especially this Monday and next Monday. We are doing a 2-part year-end bonanza, the best and worst year ever, where we are going through this coming up Monday. We're going to try to find the silver lining that has surrounded the dark cloud of 2020 in the world of professional wrestling. And the next Monday, it is going to be the early version of the 2021 NBA Slam Dunk Contest, where Marcus and I grip it and rip it and dunk on everything wrestling 2021 or 2020. So it's going to be great. And then we do owe you guys the live watch along for Crystal Marshall and Teddy Long. That's going to be the first episode of 2021. So we're booked. We're ready to go. And if you're a listener of Final Wrestling Place, we may have something special for you when you tune in on Monday.
All right, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports. You'll probably see me tweeting angry tweets about Clay Travis and our idiot president. Wear your goddamn masks. I'm sick and tired of not working and not having a career. Wear the fucking mask. Be smart around Christmas. But thank you for all the support this year and every year. Like I said, this is our final live show of the year, but we will be back. We'll talk to you. So subscribe. Make sure you're following us on social media, YouTube, and all the podcast platforms. And we will have content coming out to you next week and the following. But until then, guys, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?